Hello everyone, welcome to TechEd 2021. My name is Suresh Kumar and I'm heading the development team of AI Core and based out of Singapore. I do have my colleague Nitol who is joining with me today.
Thank you very much, Suresh, and good day to everyone from my side as well. This is Nitol Dutta. I'm Partner Management and Ecosystems Lead within SAP's Artificial Intelligence team, and it's my great pleasure to join Suresh in this session.
Before we get into the topic, let's take a quick look at the agenda. We will start with what is intelligent enterprise, followed by overview of SAP AI Core and SAP AI Launchpad. After that, let's take a quick look at the roadmap of SAP AI Core and SAP AI Launchpad. Followed by that, let's look into a cool demo on how to build a simple text classification using AI Core and Launchpad. And finally, how to integrate that with S4 to do a real-time prediction. Lastly, my colleague Nitol will walk through on the partner ecosystem opportunity of SAP AI Core and Launchpad. Intelligent enterprise do not operate in a silo. SAP helps companies become intelligent enterprises by enabling customers to discover and deploy vertical solutions in order to apply industry best practices and extend current business processes. SAP BTP is the foundation of the intelligent and sustainable enterprise. It is essential to have one unified technology platform as a foundation of intelligent enterprise, ensuring that business applications are integrated, can talk to each other, and be easily built and extended. Let's look at the overview of SAP AI Core and Launchpad. In the overview, let's start with technical building blocks of SAP AI Core and Launchpad. AI functions can be realized as AI services, and consumption of these services is unified by SAP governed AI API, regardless of whether they are deployed on SAP HANA, SAP Data Intelligence, or SAP AI Core. Additionally, we also want to support our partner choices to bring their own services through hyperscalers, but still governed by unified SAP AI standards. Basically, AI API sits in all of these runtimes and exposes a unified entry point and consistency. Therefore, for anyone trying to integrate into these runtimes, the effort and complexity is reduced a lot as the API is going to be consistent across all of these runtimes. Anyone willing to build their own runtimes, such as partner offerings, you will have support from SAP to build your AI functions with reference implementation of AI API through our SDK offerings. To make a special mention here, SAP AI Core is our own AI workload runtime, which is designed to support most of the commonly used machine learning frameworks. Finally, management and operations of AI functions will be unified across various runtimes through SAP AI Launchpad. Intelligence Suite, Business Network, and Industry Cloud applications at the top can get integrated into the intelligent technology stack, which is in the middle portion with unified interface. If you have concrete projects that you are willing to implement using AI API, please make sure contact our partner ecosystem offerings, which will be shared later by my colleague Nitol in the future slides. Let's take a deep look at the SAP AI Core and Launchpad. SAP AI Launchpad is the central vehicle for SAP teams, as well as its customers and partners to manage their AI functions across all landscapes and deployment options. As of now, it contains AI Operations Manager to manage their subtenants and AI Service tenants to train, deploy, operate, and monitor models in the productive environment. Here, operations managers can be considered as a main tenant, and service tenant could be considered as subtenant. For example, if you as a partner want to bring your own customer for some of your AI services, then your customer's AI workloads will be running in the service tenant namespace. This way, we could enable tenant isolated way of executing tenant specific workloads. Other features such as Content Manager and Functional Explorer Manager are in the pipeline. They are basically helping to share AI functions as content and providing options to explore and deploy in your own space. These features are basically simplifying the whole ML complexity and enables readily available solution for some of the commonly used AI functions. On the other side, SAP AI Core is accelerating the development and productization of compliant AI functions with out-of-box integration into SAP solutions. With AI Core, AI functions can be developed using any open source ML frameworks that user prefers and fulfills their business needs. Here, AI Core is completely compliant with AI API spec and provides full lifecycle management support such as model training, dataset management, model artifact management, deployment, and inference management. We are introducing GitOps concepts here to manage some of the assets such as workflow and serving templates. As our AI core is built around the state-of-the-art open source solution, such as Argo workflow and KF serving frameworks. Therefore, templates for workflow and serving have to be Argo and KF serving compliant. As they are open source and available in the public domain, their detailed features and specs can be referred in their portal and in their respective GitHub repositories. Here is the high-level architecture combining both AI Core and Launchpad. Let's take a deep look at some of the core components of SAP AI Core and Launchpad. Let's start with the business application integration from the left-hand side. And in this case, ISLM from S4 is taken as an example, which is integrated with AI Core. As we saw in the past slides, Unified AI API stays as an interface to manage the complete lifecycle of AI scenarios. Once the instance and service key of AI Core has been created from the BTP, anyone can make use of the credentials to start the onboarding. By default, the main tenant and the default resource group will get created. First step is to register the GitHub repository in which the templates for Argo workflow and templates for KF serving are synchronized with the main tenant namespace. With the help of APIs, we can also check the synchronization status of the templates and also report errors in the spec if any. Next, through the APIs, it is also required to register Docker credentials to pull your own Docker images that was referred in the templates to do either training or serving. Finally, it is also necessary to register your own object store in which the dataset for training will be referred at the time of training. In addition to that, assets created by training will also be uploaded to the object store that you configured. To take note, object store is always resource group specific, which means each resource group will have their own object store isolated. This way, you can achieve subtenant isolation. Once the required resources are connected, anyone can trigger a new workflow or serving, which happens to the connected business applications using AI API interface. AI workloads are always happening on the resource group level. Basically, it refers to the template from main tenant, but executes the workloads resource group namespace. What we are showing here is one way of managing AI functions through Unified AI API. We would also like to highlight that further runtimes such as SAP HANA, data intelligence, or partner solutions using hyperscaler can be created as additional runtimes in which AI functions can be managed through our Unified AI API spec. Finally, AI Launchpad enables UI interface to operate on all AI API runtimes in a unified manner. Let's take a quick look at the roadmap of AI Core and Launchpad for next few quarters. Our roadmap is designed with few stages in mind, such as ideation, validation, realization, productization, operation, and finally fulfilling required enterprise qualities. Starting with Q4 2021, on the validation side, we want to discover AI services in SAP AI Launchpad. On the integration, we have operations of service tenants. And finally, in the enterprise quality, we want to have performance benchmarks and support AWS as one of the deployment landscape. For Q1 2022, we would like to validate, discover, and compare AI packages and import AI packages into AI Core and realize AI packages in SAP AI Launchpad. In the enterprise quality side, you have options to manage resources for your own AI services and workloads. For Q2 2022, We would like to add to validate how to deliver AI packages in AI Core, including support on CI/CD. On the realization, we would like to manage AI scenarios through ISLM. On the productization phase, we would like to monitor model quality and apply advanced inference patterns. On the deployment side, we would like to enable Ali Cloud as additional deployment landscape. For Q3 2022, we would like to explore additional use cases for AI Launchpad. And on the realization, we want to enhance AI functions in Launchpad. Here, we would like to enable deployment into Azure landscape. Beyond that, we would like to support AI functions, monetization, and enable GCP deployment. Now, let's take a look at the demo on how to build a simple text classification using AI Core and Launchpad. And finally, how to consume and do a real-time prediction in S4 through ISL. Enjoy the demo.
In this demo, we will showcase how to use AI Core and AI Launchpad to train and deploy a custom text classification model and then consume it using an ABAP interface on Intelligent Scenario Lifecycle Management or ISLM. We will first take a look at the script that we will be using to train a Python scikit-learn based text classifier. Here, we look at the different methods that we will be using to read the data, to pre-process it, and to train the model with a simple naive Bayes classifier available in scikit-learn. We also have defined methods to save the model artifact after the training, load the artifact from the file system, and also perform inference along with the method to orchestrate the training and evaluation. We will now be looking at the serving script that we will be using in order to perform prediction on the model that was trained in the previous script. First, we initialize the model from the local artifact and then use this model to perform prediction in the predict method. This script uses a Flask server to serve the model using the route mentioned above the predict method. Now let us look at the Docker file that we will be using in order to create the training image. We create a folder for storing the source scripts, one for model artifact and one more for the input artifact, which is the data. We will now be building this training image like so. We will then be pushing the Docker image into the registry like so. We will now look at the Docker file that we will be using in order to build the serving Docker image. This Docker file is similar to that of the training Docker file, except that we will push the serving Python script and spin up a gUnicorn server in order to make the serving endpoint available for the consuming application. We will similarly build the serving Docker image like so, and push this Docker image into the Docker registry like so. Next, we will look at the workflow template that we will be using in order for the training. We will define various different parameters that we would like to be used for identifying the scenario as well as the executable. We also provide the names for the input and the output artifact as well as their types. The input and the output artifacts would be referred to later in the workflow along with the respective paths. The Docker image that was built earlier goes on this line along with the version. Now we will look into the serving template, which looks very much like the workflow template, but defines a serving executable. The parameters And definitions are skewed more towards serving, where we define the auto-scaling parameters along with using the serving kubeflow template. We also use a serving Docker image that was built in the previous step. Subsequently, we will trigger the training and the deployment on AI Launchpad. On AI Launchpad, we first create a training configuration that would define various parameters for the training, the model that we just Dockerized, and create a workflow template. Let us give a configuration name. Then we choose the data that we would be using to train this model. We then trigger an execution. Since this is a machine learning model to be trained, it would take some time for this model to be complete. The training execution has successfully run. We will then deploy this trained model. In order to deploy a trained model, we will create yet another configuration. Similar to the configuration for the training, we will give a name for this configuration as well. And then choose the same scenario that we used earlier. So we will choose the serving executable instead of the training executable. We will then choose the model that we just trained earlier. And finally, we will then, in this case, trigger deployment. We will then wait for this deployment to be successful, which will keep the model in a running state for accepting inference requests. We will wait for some more time, and then we will see that the model is successfully deployed and is in the running state. In the next step, we will test the endpoints that were made available from the deployment. The first prediction response from the model is shown here. This is the first example where we evaluate the deployed model. We will also check another example where the response of the model can be seen, as shown here. Now that we have successfully deployed and checked the result of the deployment, we will obtain the deployment URL to register with ISLM for consuming this machine learning model through an ABAP interface. Here we see ISLM dashboard where we can view the machine learning model that was registered. On the intelligent scenario management page, we look at the intelligent scenarios and find the classification scenario that we just registered. We will now consume this registered model in the next step using an ABAP interface. In this step, we will consume this machine learning scenario inside S4 ABAP report. Here, we have a demo report program in which we will consume this machine learning scenario. This is a class which is implementing the interface from ISLM. Here, this is ISLM INTS. It implements a method called trigger interface in which we call ABAP APIs from ISLM. This API allows for inference execution. Let us execute this report, and we will use the same text that we used in our inference call earlier and see the output produced by this ABAP report that we just created. We provide an input here and we hit execute. On clicking the execute button, the report connects to the machine learning scenario using ISLM to produce the output, which is a complaint in this case. Similarly, we can try another text to check the output from the machine learning scenario. On executing this, we will get the response for the sentiment of the text on the ISLM report. In this case, the result is a compliment. In this demo, we saw how to Dockerize machine learning scenario scripts and serving scripts, create workflow and serving templates on AI Core, and trigger a training executable as well as a serving executable to deploy the trained model. We then registered the deployed model on ISLM and used an ABAP interface to consume this machine learning model on S4.
Thank you, Suresh, for the great overview and the demo. Today, I'm going to talk about the opportunity for our ecosystem to leverage AI Core and AI Launchpad to address various enterprise relevant AI scenarios. First, let's talk about some of the broad categories of use cases that you can address with AI Core and AI Launchpad. Looking at this picture bottom up, you have this base platform that provides the capability to either customize or host standalone AI workloads in a secure environment and in a compliant manner. This is where, in simplest of use cases, we help move POC workloads into production. Secondly, with AI API and various integrations we would offer progressively out of the box, and some of them you already saw in Suresh's part of the presentation, we will have a harmonized mechanism to integrate AI models from various SAP and other third-party runtimes into consuming applications. Lastly, for us as a combined ecosystem, SAP, our partners, customers, we will have use cases around extending enterprise applications, typically SAP applications, with certain AI functionality or content, and then managing the lifecycle around it. So hopefully this gives you a flavor of some of the broad categories of use cases that we target with AI Core and AI Launchpad. Now moving on to the next slide, we have a number of different front runners, stakeholders within SAP who are leveraging one or the other component, AI Core or Launchpad for respective solutions. One of those specialized offerings is what you see here. It's called Business Operations Self-Healing, or BOSH, which is part of our Business Process Intelligence portfolio. The offering focuses on IT and business operations automation, with the first areas being around sales order automation. Probably most of the audience is already familiar with concepts around self-help and self-service mechanisms around issue resolution. And Bosch applies AI to augment this with self-healing component as well as improve self-service aspects. So where does AI Core play a role here? AI Core is a key architectural component of Bosch with the AI workload running there and AI API being leveraged to retrain, deploy, and infer from the various AI models that are underlying this AI augmented issue resolution capability within Bosch. And you can learn much more about Bosch by visiting their session. You can see some of the details on the screen here. So now that we have seen all the product components in Suresh's presentation, we have seen some potential use cases in one of the earlier slides and how one of our internal stakeholders is using AI Core. Here is an overview of the opportunity for our partner ecosystem to make a meaningful investment in the topic. The best part here is that these opportunities are open for various partner types, be it specialized system integrators or partners who want to build their own solutions for their customers. Starting from top left, the first option says you basically have the option to leverage the platform tooling to execute an AI project at a customer with your own AI logic without worrying about operations, orchestration, and lifecycle management aspects. Secondly, as you have been aware from other sessions, SAP mainly focuses on embedding AI in its applications. So, as a partner who is a domain expert, for example, in a certain industry, the playing field is relatively open to extend a standard application with more domain or customer industry specific functionality. This is what you see on the top right. Now moving to bottom left, this is where we also see the market having a scope to expand and improve. This is a growing opportunity to deliver reusable template AI content for multiple customers. Now we all in this ecosystem are aware of template ERP content, but template AI content is a different kettle of fish because there's a lot of other aspects that surround how you can build AI content which is reusable. And we hope to facilitate this opportunity with our upcoming content management features in 2022 that Suresh also briefly highlighted in the roadmap. Last but not the least, there is of course a wider SAP AI asset base that provides consumable and reusable AI functionality. And you saw some examples as well. We will offer a harmonized means to consume such functionality into partner developed applications. So in essence, we believe the opportunity is real and we hope to see a lot of traction and business together with our ecosystem in 2022 with not just AI Core and AI Launchpad, but with the rest of our AI portfolio as well, be it our conversational AI offering or our AI business services. So that was all about our portfolio and offering with AI Core and AI Launchpad. Now, as you know, TechEd offers a great learning opportunity all through. So here are some great learning offers to complement your conference. You can prepare for a certification in SAP Business Technology Platform with free SAP learning journeys and live sessions by experts. You can save with an exclusive SAP TechEd certification offer that came in with your TechEd registration email. You can follow learning recommendations for selected sessions to continue skill building. And of course, very importantly, although we miss this in a virtual setting a little bit, but important to network, and we facilitate that in a moderated SAP learning group where you can get your questions answered efficiently. Find all the great content that SAP has to offer at learning.sap.com/TechEd. Thank you everyone for patiently listening into our presentation. Hopefully you found this useful and we look forward to collaborating with you in your AI journeys in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you, Nitol. And thanks also to the audience for joining with us today, and have a great day.